Okay, this video is about electric bikes and electric skateboards, and the motivation to make this video was I had a friend, he's a doctor in his 70s, a very responsible guy who used to ride bicycles very long distance, and then he got one of these electric bikes. He's actually had it now, I think, for a couple years, but he wiped out on his bike, had a pretty significant injury, had a head trauma with a concussion, had a tear of his rotator cuff that he's going to need surgery for, and some other problems. And basically, my impression is once you put a motor on these things, they're like a motorcycle. And it also depends where you're located. When I was a kid, we rode bicycles far, far from home, hours and hours away into the woods, going off of ramps and jumps and stuff. We were kind of crazy. Evel Knievel was a big thing in that day. But I think it's much more dangerous to ride a bicycle in the bigger city areas because the bike lanes are just too small. And especially if the weather's bad or somebody's tired coming home, you don't see the bike lanes. A lot of people are driving high up in trucks. There weren't that many trucks and sport utility vehicles around when I was a kid. And also, everybody was an American when I was a kid. We all saw ourselves as a melting pot. Whereas nowadays, nobody's going to let their kid ride hours and hours away from home and ride all through the woods. I used to do that all the time when I was in grade school, in junior high. But you can't be doing that nowadays. America's not as safe. America used to be rich. Now America is kind of a poor country. Oh, I wanted to also mention, let me go back to that slide. I wanted to also mention I had some school teachers hit by cars that would ride their bikes to school. It's a dangerous thing. The bike lanes are just too small, and some people aren't going to see you. What did I see? I know other people hit by cars. And Ruth Heidrich, the great triathlete, marathoner, multi-decade survivor. She's still alive with breast cancer. She got hit by a car when she was training on riding her bicycle. So it's more dangerous than people think, but especially once you put a motor on it, man, you're talking about a motorcycle. And I've seen some really severe injuries on these electronic skateboards. I would not get your kid one of those things. Because, you're going faster. I've seen, you're sticking your feet onto the thing. I've seen people have skull fractures, subdural hematomas, subarachnoid hemorrhages from head trauma, post-traumatic convexity subarachnoid hemorrhages. So I think all this stuff's a bad idea. I initially, part of when my wife and I years ago were kind of reconciling about moving to a new house. I didn't want to move to a new house, but we used to go on bike rides together, and even just going over those bike rides in some local woods. It was in a really kind of wealthy, nice area. It was still kind of dangerous. I don't ride bikes anymore. And you can call me a wimp. I have another relative, world champion athlete, and he rides his mountain bike in the mountains and stuff, but I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I'm like, why would I want to take that risk of injury when I have no gain? I can get a better workout in other ways, and I have no gain from it, so I don't like to take a risk without a gain. So I think I don't recommend this stuff at all for your kids, and they're dangerous.